Have you ever wondered why conservative media is balls? It's not just because they are boring people, though that's also it. The main reason is because all art comes from the lower classes of society, especially in America. Music and dance all comes from the black community. They all come from that for the most part. And this goes back to the fact that the aristocracy were not creators. The art always comes from working people, and even like a lot of American stuff. Also, country music comes from blue collar, Midwestern people. Also, immigrants too. Latin music is coming a lot. That's why Bad Bunny is the NFL, the Super Bowl halftime show, because the aristocracy were patrons. That's where Patreon gets its name from, patronage, where, rich people who don't produce anything would find, talented artists or whatever and pay them to make art because they just really couldn't themselves. They tried, they have all the time in the world because they don't work, but because working people work and actually do stuff, create stuff, that's why poor people tend to is where all art comes from, poorer people, because they have to create, they have to work, they have to produce in their general lives. They have to do that in order to survive, whereas rich people make their money from owning the labor of the working class. What they do is they pay you to work for them. So you work, sell your labor, blah, blah, blah. But basically, working people produce stuff, and so that's why all art and entertainment comes from poor, lower class working people. All good art and entertainment. I mean, sure, sometimes, a rich person will do that and they'll get tons of training and everything like that. But true talent comes from having to work, doing your own thing, like having that drive to do more and do things with your time and with your hands and with your body and with your mind. Whereas just lounging around all day, that's the other thing too, is lounging around all day, you want to be entertained. And so what they would do is they got lazy, and so they would pay, working and producing and artistic people to do their entertainment for them, which is also why conservatives have no love for creativity, and why AI art, or AI media, as I like to say, is, because it's not art, is so popular with conservatives, because they hate creativity because they don't have it. It comes from having to work for somebody else, or not even somebody else, but having to work for yourself. If you have other people making your money for you, then you don't want to do anything. You want to be entertained. And so in order to create entertainment, it takes that drive and that need and that requirement of putting yourself out there and doing things because that's what creativity is. It's the desire to get out and doing everything. And frankly, everybody has that drive, even upper class and conservative people, even though it doesn't seem like it. But it's just because you cultivate that feeling when you're forced to make things. And that's why if we got rid of the owning class and just had everybody, working for ourselves, we got rid of poverty and socialized all of our needs, then people would still work and everybody would have the chance to learn their art and things like that, rather than have to either have enough money to do it themselves, be the child of a rich person, or have to get a scholarship or something and go to school. If everybody has access to those things and also participates in society, because that's really where the creation comes from, is the participation. When you are a patron, you're not a participant, you're just a audience member, a witness. Whereas creatives are participants. They participate in society and they create. And that is where creativity comes from. And so, we get rid of poverty, food, housing, healthcare, education, and transportation. Make those things free and available to all through taxes. Then we can start, you get rid of poverty, then people can work, and also, we get rid of the owning class, blah, blah. Then everyone will have the opportunity to make their art. And that's beautiful. And that's also why, conservative art is balls.